have some clients ask me, well, what does Micah's program cost? And my quick response is like, it's so irrelevant.
Yeah.
You can't afford not to do it.
Yeah.
Even, mortgages set aside. If you want to go borrow against anything, your credit cards, your car loans, like you can't really afford to have a bad credit score.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
What's up, everyone? Micah Smith here with another episode of Rebuild and Rise. And today I am here with a very special guest and a very good friend of mine. I actually hunted him down in the gym, of all places. It's kind of funny. But he is Kei Kullberg, and he is powered by GoRascal. And he is a mortgage lender, simply put. And without belaboring it, I do want to introduce him, but I'm going to have him introduce himself because I want to hear from you, Kei, what you're most passionate about. So welcome to the show.
Thanks, Micah. I think this is a little overdue. I'm glad that I'm here
overdue.
and we made it.
Yes.
Thanks for the invite.
Yeah.
And thanks for the intro. I'm a mortgage broker. I've been in the industry since just about 17 started out, and kind of the processing, underwriting side of things, moved to like an inside sales position, and then moved full on into sales. And I kind of attribute a lot of success in the industry to that segue and not just jumping right into sales. My team and I, we really just like pride ourselves on, understanding guidelines and knowing the ins and outs of these loans instead of just trying to like sell up front all the time. Right. So yeah, I love this industry. It has changed my life. I've met so many amazing people, and I'm super grateful for that. And just to be able to help people achieve the dream of home ownership and to create generational wealth through real estate. I'm passionate about it. I think it is the most important investment you can make. There's a lot of investment vehicles, but I'm a big fan of using real estate for that, not only for my clients, but me personally. And I'm a diehard.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, it's so much fun to work with you too, because you're like you said, you started learning the back end. And I think that's really unique because I see that people who tend to be more successful in this arena, they're not just focused on the sale. They're focused on doing things the right way. And I love that about you because you are so solution oriented. You know so many different products. And I feel like, do you consider yourself an expert at this point?
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
And I think that's super important because it's interesting. I just spoke with a client this morning, and this is something that I see all the time, is that people who don't understand the back end will create havoc for people because they'll carelessly give them a pre-approval. And then all of a sudden it comes to closing time and they're like, just kidding. We can't get you through underwriting because you actually weren't supposed to be pre-approved. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, look, there's just too many people involved in the process to be doing that.
Yeah.
And that's part of how our clients have the competitive advantage working with us is we fully pre-screen everything, run everything through the underwriting systems, get those even formal approvals up front, and make them, specific to a house that they might be offering on. And this allows the selling side to accept their offer with confidence, which is important in this competitive market. Our kind of selling point, or the way that we can help buyers, real estate agents, is shortening the amount of time that it takes their buyer to get an accepted offer. So if we handle our upfront process in a very concise and detailed way and go through our process of reaching out to the selling side during the offer phase and help get that accepted offer, that client has more of a chance of moving forward and even purchasing a home because they're not going through 15 different showings and getting discouraged and giving up. But also we're helping these buyers get accepted offers in less showings for the buyer's agent, and they can scale their business and in turn handle more buyers at once if they're going on less showings, constantly getting beat out on offers with the alternative. So yeah, it's exciting. We're passionate about really growing real estate agents' businesses as well, and helping them succeed. I think a lot of these agents out there, they're great at what they do, but sometimes they lack some guidance on really just like the business development side of things. And I'm really, I'm passionate about kind of just like more of the business building conversation with them. That's
Okay.
kind of separate from, what we do for our clients.
Yep.
It's important. Our real estate agents take care of us because they refer us a lot of their business. About 75 to 80% of my business is from real estate agent referrals. So it's important for me to take care of them and help them grow.
We're obviously going to have a lot of listeners that are real estate agents as well as consumers, but just for, I guess, anyone who is trying to be better at business development. Most people are in sales to some capacity. Can you give one or two tips that stand out to you that really stick out to you? I know yesterday you had a networking event with a bunch of realtors, and like, tell me like the top two things that come to mind when you're talking to these people.
Yeah, just as far as like how we can help these agents.
Or just, and how they can help themselves. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because like you and I talk all the time about business development and how hard it is. So I'm sure that your conversations with them are probably just around like, hey, here's how you can be better and more successful.
Yeah, it's important, the partnership that an agent has with the lender, not only from like the sales side of things, but also, personal and business development. Part of how we help these agents is a lot of them think that our job description is to get you closed on time, to stay in constant communication throughout the loan process, and to follow up on their leads like white on rice. That's kind of what we used to think made us unique with them working with us, but in reality, that's just any loan officer's job description.
Sure.
Like everybody should be doing that. If you're failing at doing that, you're just not doing it.
Right.
So we've taken it another level, and really my job to a real estate agent is protecting and having them gain more commissions, right? Like I'm a protector of your commission, and we're able to refer commission just because we have a very solid follow-up process. And over the last 12 months, whether it's deals that I've rescued from other banks that haven't been able to close, or referrals that I've given, we've rescued or given $305,000 of commissions back to agents.
That's amazing.
So that's a big kind of selling point for us too,
course.
is when it comes to helping these agents, like, you gotta get these deals to the finish line at the end of the day. And if they're working with a lender who can't, their commission's not protected. And that's really important to us as far as just making sure that they're with the right lending team. And then, helping them and coaching them into sustaining a higher volume. It's a tough job to be an agent. I mean, they're on the road a lot, going on showings. How do you manage all of the craziness all day? It's similar in our business just because we have a very similar business model, but I don't necessarily need to hit the road like they do. If I did, I'd probably be like texting and driving all the time, or on my phone all the time.
They have things you can text from your glasses.
Yeah, right. So that's interesting from an efficiency standpoint. But I just like to kind of coach these agents into, how they can improve their business, and just, it's an efficiency game at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Usually you can figure everything out to an extent at a low volume, but once you start to get to the point where you really need to be very intentional about the time that you're spending with your day, those are really like the areas that I thrive with and like to talk about.
I love that. Well, I mean, you and I have had quite a few conversations. And so, listen, I'm going to kind of brag on you just a little bit because you are a big producer. You're known for this. And so people trust you. They want to work with you. So you close a lot, but you work harder and smarter than most people. So let's talk a little bit about efficiency and systems. And so we were just speaking, you're probably going to have your biggest month this month yet. So what, 22 closings this month?
That's what could close. I mean, we're in the state of New York, and it's an attorney state. So there's a good chance that a few of those get pushed into November, but it
still,
is what it is. Yeah.
I mean, the average loan originator, I think, does close to one a month, if I'm not mistaken.
Something like that. It's a kind of a gross statistic. Same with real estate agents. I think, like, however, I don't know what it is. Somebody correct me on this, but I think it's like 85 or 90% of agents don't sell more than one house a year.
Yeah. No, it's correct. And they say 95% of the agents sell 5% of the real estate, 5% of the agents sell 95% of the real estate. It's a wild statistic when you think about it, but it's because I think, one, so many people aren't fully bought in, so a lot of them are dabbling, they're doing it part-time, there's an unrealistic expectation. I see it every day because I hire salespeople and they're not doing well. And it's because they don't understand the effort that it takes to be successful. So talk to us a little bit about systems and when you incorporated systems and what kind of systems you value and that allows you to service your customers the way that you do, because you have very happy customers and you do a large volume. So how do you?
I attribute a lot of it to coaching. I think that anybody who's serious about their business needs to invest in a coach, and you can't really afford not to.
Yep.
So when I got into the business, I worked for like a small mom and pop brokerage. I mean, they taught me a lot, and I give them a lot of credit for that. There's no willingness to coach or to bring in any sort of mentors, right? I went out and did that by myself, and I started off with a common coaching group in the mortgage industry called the Mortgage Marketing Animals, and I met some amazing people there who I'm still very close with. And when you're dealing with a coach, they have an answer to every problem that you have, especially a coach that's specific for your industry. There's an answer to every problem.
Yeah.
And then the only thing that it comes down to is you counting on yourself to implement and execute on that problem to solve it. So I just started to ask a lot of questions like, hey, here's what I'm seeing with this problem and this problem with structuring my business, and have just been sort of just soaking in all this advice like a sponge ever since beginning of 2019. So I think I've been in coaching for almost like 6 years now. Love it. I think you can't afford to not have a coach, and it comes down to you like executing on something at the end of the day, but your coach is also your accountability partner that you don't want to let down either. So it's super important. I mean, I take it really seriously. I feel like I'm working on my business just as much as I'm working like in my business at this point.
Absolutely. I think that's critical. And I myself, big company, small company, I've personally never been part of a large corporation that ever offered coaching. I've never experienced that. And I've always been the one to go out and seek it on my own. But that's why now I've separated myself from most people. It's because I'm more willing to learn. And I think that's huge. And I think that accountability component is everything. Yeah. And I agree with you. But I mean, it just goes to show too, and I kind of consider myself a coach. I think you're a coach. And I think that just goes to show, right? Like if you're trying to accomplish something, whether it's financial or mortgage related, like learn from someone who knows how to do this, right? All day, every day, who has gone and is coming back from it. So like when I hired my COO, it was because I was like, I need to be around people who have been there, done that, and they're on their way back, right? So she worked for billion-dollar firms. So she's on her way back. So I'm like, what better person to learn from? Someone who's seen it all, done it all, the good, the bad, the ugly, and she can help steer the ship, because it's not possible for us to know everything as talented as we are, right? It's not possible. So I love that. Good for you. And I saw that you were recently at an event not too long ago that was geared towards just I don't remember what the name of the event was, but I think you were there. Michael Girardi was there. I saw you were there with the owner of GoRascal. His name is slipping my mind. Scott. Thank you.
Scott Valens.
Yep.
He's a great leader. We just got back from GrowthCon last week. It's with our coaching group. It's called Go Coaching. Amir Syed runs it, and he's sort of just gotten to the point where his business is, for the most part, on autopilot, and he's spending a lot of his time trying to make other loan officers better. And we need people like that in this industry. And man, I have some massive takeaways from that, and it's important to just go get fired up. And even if you don't learn anything new, like at least you have this new energy coming back. I mean, I learned a lot of new quick tips on like time management, which is kind of like a very overused word, but man, I've been super productive this week just coming off of that.
That's awesome.
Right? You kind of need that extra spark every once in a while.
I agree.
And I have a 1-year-old at home. He's like 13 months, almost 14 months. So like that has added a whole nother layer of maximizing efficiency for the day. Cause I want to spend as much time with him and my family and my wife as I can, but we still have a business to run. So it's more important than ever now to be super efficient. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there bragging about, being in the office at 8 p.m. I don't really think that's a flex at all. That just shows me that you weren't productive the whole day behind you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there is enough time in the day to get your shit together, execute on stuff, delegate where you need to. And that's kind of the main principle that I'm tackling my business with moving forward is, that balance of work life, which seems like it's not even a real thing, but yes, there is. And if you are intentional about your time and stick to your plan, there's a way.
I think it's being focused, right?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, people don't realize how non-focused they are. They might be accomplishing stuff, but if they're constantly bouncing from project to project, not really ever like going all in one thing, I mean, people really don't know how to optimize and be most efficient. And I think learning that is critical to everyone's success. So, I mean, I can't imagine the stress of having a newborn and running a business and just trying to keep it all together. You've got your investment properties and all of that other stuff. So I think that it's very notable that you're still doing what you're doing while also being a new father. I was going to actually ask you, has it changed anything in regards to how you view your business or how you operate your business?
Yeah, I would just say I'm more efficient.
Yep.
For example, like, I'm big into like my physical health as well. I'm running a marathon in 3 weeks. I did like the 75 hard challenge last year. And for those listeners who don't know what the 75 hard challenge is, just do a quick breakdown. For 75 days straight, 2 workouts that are 45 minutes. One needs to be outdoors and the other one can be whatever. No alcohol. You have to stick to a diet. You have to drink a gallon of water a day, read 10 pages of a book, and take a progress photo. I think that's it. And so many people were like, oh, I don't have time for that. Definitely don't have time to get 2 workouts in. But it's more of a discipline challenge than a physical challenge than anything. Like, I was way more productive during those 75 days than I ever was, even with needing to get 2 45-minute workouts in, just because I was so intentional about my time and I needed to map out my entire day to a T. And like, man, that taught me a lot of life lessons doing that. And that's the same thing with like having a kid. Like, you don't have time to waste. I sort of cut out all the other BS. I prefer it that way.
Yeah, I love that. And that's kind of why I actually started doing bodybuilding. I started doing bodybuilding like 10 years ago, but I still remember I was traveling all over the country and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to prove people wrong. You do have time if you make time. Yeah. And so I did my first bodybuilding competition while traveling all over the country. So I would fly somewhere, I would land, I'd go get my groceries, I'd go work out. But it comes down to what we actually want to make the time for. And it's amazing to me how much you actually can accomplish if you just structure your day. Like, I love the philosophy, either you run your day or your day runs you. To me, there is no in between.
Here's a thought. If somebody followed you for the day, would they be impressed or depressed?
Yep. I love that.
And it's always creeping in the back of my head. I'm like, I got to impress somebody, whether they're looking or not.
Yeah. We tell our team all the time, we're like, you should think about life this way, that someone has a camera on you at all times. If someone has a camera on you at all times, what would they say about you? What would they say about your life? What would they say about your priorities? What would they say about your goals? And I tell that to my team every single day. And I just think that a lot of us just don't look at life that way. We let ourselves off the hook so easily. But yet it's like, if we know somebody's watching, right? Maybe do something a little bit different. So I love that. So I wanted to jump into, obviously, credit, because that's how we get to work together every single day. So obviously, in the mortgage business that you've been very successfully in for a very long time, I want to ask you, when you have clients that are struggling with credit, I just want you to tell everyone firsthand, what does that keep you from? Like, how does that keep you stuck?
Yeah, so there are industry-wide guidelines that we need to meet, and having a good credit score, whatever good means, shows your lender your ability to repay. Nobody wants to lend you a few $100,000 for a house if you don't have the ability to repay it, right? If you have a track record of not making sound financial decisions and owing people money back. That's not a good look when you're asking to borrow a few $100,000 potentially. So that's where you come in. And look, because credit is a very finicky algorithm. And you love that word algorithm. I'll let you dive into the nitty gritty of credit, but sometimes the algorithm doesn't know the picture in the story that we know. And I think you can, help repair these people's credit to where it belongs.
Yeah.
Right. Instead of maybe what they ended up with.
Sure.
You're putting their credit score back to what they deserve instead of the short end of the stick that they got because of an error, for example, maybe. So it's important. A lot of people are very qualified, except for maybe their credit score because of part of the algorithm that maybe wasn't so fair to them. So that's where we send them over to you and you take care of it, which is nice because in the past we were kind of fumbling through advice. They were speaking to maybe a credit repair company that wasn't specific for mortgages, and that person might be history. But the retention that we get from sending somebody through your program is nice because I can pass them off and know that they're in good hands, and you just let me know when they're ready to go, which allows me to get back to what I need to focus on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, when it comes to credit, if you would be so kind as to share with people, because I do in my classes, but what does it cost someone? Let's just say that they are like, you know what, I want to rush into this decision. I want to rush into this house. And they end up going, let's say with a lender, like I've seen lenders that go in as low as 500, right? Can you talk about like the difference between getting a loan at a 500 credit score versus say like you get into premium tiers? Like what does that look like? How much does that cost someone maybe per month, even on PMI, if they have to carry PMI now?
It's like hundreds of thousands of dollars over the life of the loan.
Yeah.
And I'll have some clients ask me, well, what does Micah's program cost? And my quick response is like, it's so irrelevant.
Yeah.
You can't afford not to do it.
Yeah.
Even, mortgages set aside, if you want to go borrow against anything, your credit cards, your car loans, like you can't really afford to have a bad credit score. It's not worth it. So even people refinancing, like we'll get some people into these mortgages because they found the perfect house, but maybe their credit isn't so ideal. Maybe somebody who closed last year, and the difference between like a 7.25% rate and them repairing their credit through your program and refinancing with us the last month, a year later, is saving them hundreds of thousands of dollars over the life of the loan. Now, most people don't stay in a 30-year mortgage for the entire term, right? The average person either refinances or sells like every 5 to 7 years. But monthly, and you're with a higher credit score or a higher interest rate, interest is front loaded on a mortgage, right? So if you can have a lower interest rate, you're gaining more and more equity each month when you make your mortgage payment with a lower interest rate. So yeah, it's so crucial, and it often just gets overlooked, and it's frustrating. But we have experts to take care of it. So
what's the most frustrating part about it for you?
The most frustrating part about it is, speaking of the word algorithm that you love in credit, the automated underwriting system in mortgages is also an algorithm. And even though somebody might meet the credit score requirement, the algorithm still might not like the loan, and we might not get an approval on it. So that's really frustrating because like 98% of the time it's credit related. And if you're teetering on the borderline of approval, like if you have the minimum credit score for a conventional loan is 620, will you get an approval on a conventional loan at 625? Probably not, because of the algorithm. Like that is the baseline, but if you have a minimum down payment and not a lot of reserves, even though you meet the credit requirement, like there's a slim chance of the automated underwriting findings giving that approval. So, if you have perfect credit, like you can push your debt to income ratio right to the edge and get an approval. Not like you want to do that, but credit has, really, it's the biggest factor in purchasing a house, other than, you got to show your income, your ability to repay, and the assets that you have. But credit is the big chunk of the algorithm that people need to know about. People need to learn about it.
Yeah. Do you think a lot of people hesitate even getting a pre-approval because they're scared of their credit and they don't even want to bother? Like they're ready to buy a home, they've saved some money, but they're like, I just don't want to deal with it right now. Do you ever
Yeah,
see a lot
so
of
many
that?
people into this just because they don't, nobody learns this stuff in school,
Yeah.
right? Like we need more like financial literacy courses and
Yeah.
talking about stuff like this. And I
Yeah.
think that's what drives me to like come meet with you today and talk about stuff like this, because hopefully we can, whether they use me for a mortgage or you for credit repair, hopefully this just, somebody listens to this and gets a spark to go speak to an expert. I mean, there's no
Exactly.
harm in having an initial call with us.
Exactly.
Like just see if we can help.
Yeah.
Right. And just educate you on the process. It's a lot easier than people think to purchase a home. And that starts with just the willingness to have a conversation about it.
Amen to that. I think that's so critical. And I wish that so many people would just get over this thought of shame or embarrassment, because I mean, Lindsay and I were talking about it. She's like, yeah, one of my really good friends who we helped, our number one clients are doctors, and they have this horrible shame around like not having been perfect in their entire lives. And it's like, you're human, you're saving lives. It's okay. Like, it's all right. You know what I mean? And like, luckily he had so many errors, you know what I mean? We were able to help him out. But, I just wish that people could get over this misnomer of feeling this shame for, I don't know why people feel so much shame around it. Maybe because now it's public that you made mistakes. I don't know. I don't get it. Like, I don't understand the thought process. Like, for me, if I make a mistake, I'm like, help me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm the first person to want to go to somebody to help me out of this issue, help me out of the situation. So
I think the problem is just social media being a spotlight for like what to do, what not to do. And I kind of just want to like normalize discussions about money. Like there's no shame into talking about it regardless of what your scenario is. Like if you can be open about it and share what you know and share what not to do, like, there's not enough of that and people aren't open about it. People need to be open to me because I'm who they need to tell their entire financial picture to in order for me to, approve them for a mortgage. But we gain that trust, and really my clients are the only people who are willing to do that. Your average person, we don't know anything about their finances, and that's fine. But, people are very private about it. It's fine. But if you need help with something, you kind of need to be open to having a discussion about it.
yeah. I always say, you're only as sick as your secrets. That's what my old therapist used to tell me like 15 years ago. She's like, Micah, you're only as sick as your secrets. And I was like, fine, here. So, blah, right? I was just like, but I think about that and I'm like, it's so true, because the moment you let it out, now all of a sudden, like, let the healing begin, So I was going to ask you, so being a new dad, being in the mortgage space, understanding finances, what are the first couple of principles, maybe 2 or 3, that you think you're going to teach or instill into your son?
That's a good question. He'll be added as an authorized user to my credit
My
card.
favorite. Yes.
Definitely.
Perfect. So when he's 17, great. Add it as
17.
Yep.
That's the age? Okay.
17 or 18.
I should
Just
know that.
don't expose them to the dark web. So
Yeah.
you don't want to do it when they're young, because then you expose them to the dark web and then bad
Got
things
it.
happen.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I didn't necessarily like grow up with these values that I did. I mean, I've always, been a hard worker and was entrepreneurial for the most part, but like I've just learned a lot about business the past several years.
Yeah.
And I just hope that, like, man, I have no idea what the world's going to be like in 18 years. So
Yeah.
I guess
Scary to think about,
maybe
right?
ask me that then, but I just hope, he's business focused. I think it's healthy for the mind
Yeah.
to be like an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You're always kind of going and trying to stay sharper. And
Sure.
unfortunately, no offense to the corporate world and a lot of people out there who show up to work every day. It's just, personally know a lot of people who just feel kind of stagnant where they are. And I would just urge my son when he grows up one day to have, the edge and belief that he can really go do whatever he wants if he puts his mind to it. So
That's great. I love that. Are you going to teach them like investments? Are you going to teach them about how to buy properties? And are you going to, you think, take him under your wing and teach him some of that stuff?
Yeah, so we just, my wife and I just bought a property in Cape Cod at the same year that
I
he was
saw that you
born.
closed. That's
So the
amazing.
whole idea with that property was to have already a business in place that he could take over and run when he's 18.
That's
So I'd
cool.
like to kind of pass that off to him. It's kind of a simple business, running a short-term rental,
Sure.
but it's complex enough where it could, that would teach a young kid a lot
Yeah.
going through
Very much so.
going through the details of that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I love that. You know what else I love about you personally as well is that you don't do everything by yourself. You are not a one-man show.
no,
So I would really love for you just to talk about the importance of being able to delegate and delegate effectively, because so many people, I feel like I speak to real estate agents, I speak to loan originators, and they're like, but nobody can do it as well as me. And I'm like, that's okay.
Yeah.
And they're not supposed to. 80% done just as well as you is 100% done. And I just wanted to talk about the effectiveness and the efficiency of having a team.
yeah, it's the doctor's office mentality. Nobody walks through the front door and speaks directly to the doctor right away. I consider like the loan myself to be the doctor in mortgages, right? Like you kind of have to go through a process, set an appointment, and when you're in that doctor's office with me, you're getting my full attention and full expertise, right? Unfortunately, if I wasn't leveraging the capacity of my team and people helping me and letting me stay in my lane, then I wouldn't get to help enough people and I wouldn't be focused when I'm with a client who deserves my full attention.
Exactly.
Right. So I'm really big on systems and processes. I mean, your success essentially falls to the level of your systems and processes.
Agreed.
Like you need to have a good team, the capacity to delegate, and enough business coming in to be able to build that, right? And there's so many people so afraid of making that leap, and it's hard. I mean, it's not easy. Like the first time I did it, I was like drinking from a fire hose when I just got into coaching, and I was like, oh, this totally makes sense. I hired like over $150,000 worth of annual salaries, like right off the rip. And this was right when COVID hit and business was good. But what I didn't do was shift gears on going and getting more business. So I just had an overhead. I like played a lot of golf, and I was like, all right, this isn't working the way that I wanted it to.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got to count on yourself when you delegate as well.
Yes.
You can hire ahead of increased, sales volume.
Sure.
But you better count on yourself to go do the activities to bring in more once that happens,
Amen
right?
to
So
that.
I like the accountability that comes with having a team because I gotta, if I don't perform, they're not going to be employed
Yeah.
eventually.
So
So,
true.
so another reason, it's just another way to keep you on your toes.
Yeah,
For sure.
I love that. And I want to switch gears a little bit because I think we get a lot of business owners, who are going to be listening to the podcast as well. And being a business owner, we see a lot. And we talk all the time about hires, successful hires, unsuccessful hires. What do you look for? What values do you look for in someone when you are hiring?
Yeah, I just need somebody to want the willingness to go the extra mile. Like you can really tell if somebody is passionate about the industry.
Sure.
Man, there's so many people out there that will just like show up each day and just go through the motions and really do the bare minimum, and it's not who you want.
No, I agree.
Yeah, we're kind of always hiring. I mean, I always kind of have a job posting out there because you never know like what kind of unicorn is going to run by. Yeah. Having the right people on your team is like, I think, the most important to your business growing. Yeah, if they're not offloading stuff off your plate so you can go on your job description, then they're not really doing their job.
Yeah, exactly.
And neither are you.
Yes.
Right? So, yeah, it's important, and it's a totally different dynamic. I mean, a lot of people are very good at what they do, but they might not be in a leadership position to build a team.
Sure.
And that's a big struggle for a lot of people, including me. I mean, I'm like an extrovert to an extent, but when it comes to like me focusing on my business, like I'm sort of an introvert in that way. And you got to find the right team that, the right teammates that align with that and who are self-sufficient in their own way, but you got to be able to mesh with these people.
Yeah.
For sure.
Definitely. Absolutely. I think that's so critical.
What does your team look like? Like the structure, like you're obviously the CEO, right? But
More like president. I'd call myself
Okay.
more the president and the founder.
Okay.
I don't like being a self-appointed CEO.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
President and founder for sure. And then, so I have my enrollment specialists. I have a customer success team. I have an investigations team. I have an arbitration team, and then I have a marketing team. So everybody has different roles within the company. And I have an assistant, a full-time assistant,
Nice.
because otherwise I cannot function. I cannot function, and I still work 12, 13 hours every day with all of those people.
Nice.
It's like,
Well, you don't have kids, right?
no kids, no
All right.
kids, no
Well,
kids, no.
Hey, it's addicting. I mean,
Yeah.
you're passionate about your business, so
Yes.
you probably don't have much of a problem with that because you're building something very special right now.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. I mean, listen, children are an amazing blessing. And if that's something that God puts into our path, then we are 100% open and receptive to it. But my husband and I I've never felt that pull ever since I was like a little kid. My little sister's like, I can't wait to have babies. And I was like, I was always like freaked out by it. And as I grew up into an adult, I never had this burning desire, to be like a mom. And my husband is the same way, but we're very open to the idea. I would be more probably excited to adopt than I would to, be proactively trying to conceive a kid. You know what I mean? But we'll see what God has in store. You never know.
Yeah. It's God's decision at the end of the day.
Yeah, it
So-
really is. It really is. Yeah. So, but I look at my employees as they're kind of like my kids to me because I get to nurture them. I get to help them grow. I get to coach them. because a lot of these kids, I mean, they're fresh out of college, some are even, younger than that, 19, 20 years old, and they're just looking for direction. And so, for me, it's one of the most exciting things is to be part of the growth and the expansion of their lives because the people that we do hire are people that want to grow. They have that growth mindset and they just crave it and they crave direction and they're just looking for something. And it's very rewarding to pour into people for me, even when they take it and then they just take it and then they leave with it. They never give it back. You know what I mean? Because you do get those employees who just take it and they never give it back, but that's okay.
Yeah. That's
It's part of the process.
it's part of the process. People
Yeah.
come and go and
Yeah.
the good ones stay.
Yes, absolutely.
Or the good ones grow and move on to something else too. And at
Yeah.
least you were a part of that journey.
Yeah, absolutely. Very much so. I mean, John Maxwell, he talks about it all the time. People, oftentimes business owners complain. They're like, I put all of this effort and all of this coaching and growth into this individual and I just watch them move on to another organization. He's like, yeah, but what's the ladder that you don't pour into them and they don't grow and they stay with you forever? He's like, that sucks.
Yeah.
He's like, so it's like, it's better that they grow and leave you than they stay stagnant and stay.
Yeah.
And that is my absolute belief. I think that everybody serves a time and a purpose. And while they're growing, I'm growing. So, I mean, there's no loss really at the end of the day.
Yeah. I think we've all learned something from every hire.
Oh, yeah.
One way or another.
Oh my God, yes. Oh my God,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit, because I know the mortgage industry, I think there are so many misnomers and there's so many misconceptions. And I know that rates are always top of mind. Everybody wants to know about the rate. And people don't understand that it's not. So when the feds cut the rate, interest rates don't always drop in the mortgage industry because it's not tied to the short-term interest rate. But I want you to, if you could, in layman's terms, like really, really simple for our audience, if you can just break it down for people, what to look at to know if rates are going to be going up or down, and stop looking at what the Fed is doing, right? With raising or lowering short-term interest rates. Can you tell people what to expect and how to understand this industry better?
My answer to that is just don't. Because it's too confusing. We can't predict the market. Like even if you're a mortgage professional and like there's no predicting the market. Like especially with clients and agents, like we can't control that at all. Like focus on the things that we can control.
Right.
And I just urge clients to focus on the payment.
Yeah.
If the payment works well for you, especially if you're a first-time home buyer going from renting to buying, owning a home will be worth it.
Yeah.
If you can afford the payment, like everything else is like rates, schmates, whatever.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter,
Yeah.
right? Getting a mortgage is like an inflation killer. Like
Yes.
your mortgage will go down from refinancing.
Yes.
You know, you're in a fixed rate. It's not going to go up, right? So look, so many people are hung up on rates and what the Fed's going to do, what the market's going to do. I mean, rates are expected to trend downwards from here for maybe the next like 6 to 18 months.
Yeah.
But people who are sidelining themselves until that happens, they're shooting themselves in the foot because they're missing out on the month's worth of equity that they could be gaining from owning a home.
Agreed.
They're paying 100% interest on their rent. And we have to remember, if rates go down, we're going to have an influx of silly buyers who've been sidelining themselves, waiting for rates to go down, rush into the market, and it's just going to drive home prices up.
Correct.
Unless rates go down far enough where home sellers feel comfortable leaving their COVID rate. That might be 2 or 3%. So I don't know. I think rates going, like a high rate environment is actually a blessing for a first time home buyer or a new buyer or somebody with a minimum down payment, because you can actually get your foot in the door at a decent price. It's still competitive out there.
Yeah.
But imagine how competitive it's going to be if rates go down further and it creates more buyer demand.
Yeah.
You can't go back on the price you paid for the house, but you can always come down on the interest rate.
Yeah.
Like get in now, and home values are going to keep going up.
Absolutely.
I promise.
Yeah.
And if they go down, just don't sell your house when it's down.
Yeah.
It will be temporary and rates will go back up, or values will go back up.
Absolutely.
So look, I'm just a big advocate for home ownership, just as much as you're a big advocate for having a good credit score.
But
this isn't just, we're not just like brainwashed by our industry. These are truly very important things to be like focused on, and it applies to everybody. We're not in some, very niche position. Like, I'm not knocking on anybody's door trying to like sell vacuums. We're trying to like, this like directly affects your life every day.
Yeah.
And I'm just grateful that I'm in an industry where, we could help almost anybody. And when you do help, not really in sales, because like, yeah, sure, I'm in mortgage sales, but when you get to help somebody, like, it's kind of a thankless job, it's great when we get to help people get into a house. When you get to help people pay $6,000 less in interest next year because you fix their credit.
Absolutely.
It's important.
Yeah, really, really important. And I think the common phrase is, right, marry the house, date the rate, is what they always say. And it's, my husband and I talk about it all the time. Like when we were house hunting, we were not having any sort of trepidation about buying our home. We didn't care what the rate was. I mean, we were going to get premium tiers regardless, but we were like, we just got to jump in. When we find the house we want, we're jumping in. We don't care where the rates are at. We're going to go for it. And because if you're not, you're losing out. Like you are 100% losing out on the opportunity. And like you said, the wealth building that having and owning real estate creates, and it's not even just a home. You know what I mean? Think about what a home is. It's a place where you're creating lasting memories for a lifetime. It's a place where you raise a family. It's a place where you run a business out of. I mean, it's so much more than a home. A home is a place of stability, but again, you're just creating memories. It really is something special and so unique. And I think it's really cool. And that is my niche, is, the mortgage world. So helping people, venture into that world. And if they had never met me, never have that opportunity, I mean, what a blessing, because I know what a blessing it is to have a home and be a homeowner. And it's something that I wish everybody could experience, because it really is super liberating on so many levels.
Yeah, it goes so much further than just the financial aspect.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm obviously hung up on the financial aspect because I'm in mortgages and
Yeah.
I just see numbers all day. But like, when did you buy your house, for example?
We bought ours 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. How much equity do you think you've gained in your house since 3 years ago?
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
And if you rented?
Nothing. We'd have nothing to show for it.
So,
it would just be poof, gone.
Yeah. And a lot of people think, well, I'm not ready. I have this much money saved. My credit is this. But even if your credit's that, like, we put people on these plans for temporary mortgages to get their foot in the door when the timing's right, if they find their first house. Our like improvement plan, that's where you step in after people buy a house with mediocre credit too, because when rates are at their lowest, that's when we're going to want them to be in top tier credit.
Yep.
So they can get the end all be all best interest rate.
Yes.
You just got to be comfortable with the payment today in the meantime, right? But it helps.
Yeah.
Does wonders.
It does. It really does. That's awesome. So with that being said, I wanted to just, if you could leave us with one piece of Kei wisdom, whatever you want it to be. I mean, you speak to so many people on a day-to-day basis. What do you want to share with our listeners and with our viewers? It can be about anything.
You're putting me on the spot here, but I know
notorious for this.
I know exactly my answer. If you have not bought a house yet, you're maybe not in a relationship, or maybe you are, and you don't have kids, I strongly recommend considering buying a multifamily house. Changed my wife and I's lives. I mean, we bought our house before we were even married, but it's a lot easier to live in a multi-unit house and rent the other units out before you're kind of in the groove with life and you're thinking about starting a family. It's kind of hard to do that with a family, right? So while you're young, while you can deal with it, buy a multifamily house with a minimum down payment. Make that your first home purchase. And when you are ready for that single family, move on and buy that single family. You can do it again with another minimum down payment. That's fine. But once you buy that single family house first, and then you want to invest in real estate, you need at least 20% down. Because in order to buy an investment property, you need to put 20% down. In some scenarios, 15% down. But that's a large sum of money that takes people a lot of time to save usually. So buy the multifamily first as an owner-occupied property so you can put a minimum down payment down and get your foot in the door with investing in real estate, and then move on and buy other houses later with minimum down payments, owner-occupied houses. It's so much easier to start investing with in real estate early on if you occupy the property, because you can put a minimum down payment down. So it changed my life. It changed, my family's lives. And I'm not at the burden of a housing expense like the majority of everybody else, because I invested in multifamilies with minimum down payments early on. And now the cash flow from that covers my current housing expenses and all my utilities. So that's my quick tip. If you're young and hungry to earn passive income and not work for the rest of your life and have a hefty single family mortgage payment, I would say maybe just call me to come up with a strategy on that.
Love this.
Yeah.
Freaking mic drop.
My quick tip.
That was so good.
Yeah.
I love that. So with that being said, I'm going to wrap it up here. So before I do, I want you to tell everyone, how can our viewers and our listeners find you?
Yeah, you could Google Kei Kullberg.
And we'll have you in the show notes.
Kei
too.
the Mortgage Guy. Find me on Instagram, my website, keikullberg.com. Yeah, call me, text me, DM me. You'll see some stuff online. It's so easy to find somebody these days.
It is.
Just Google them,
It is.
right?
Yeah.
And thank you, Micah, for being a phenomenal partner to us. I mean, you have worked miracles for some of our clients. People thought that they had no hope, and you came back and they were able to buy a house. And that's they never
So
thought
cool.
that. So it's really important to have a good working relationship with Micah's business, because it helps us and it helps the consumer, helps everybody in real estate.
Thanks, Kei.
And in life to have good credit. Take it seriously.
Thank you, Kei. All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I am Micah Smith with Rebuild and Rise. If you liked today's show, if you were inspired by today's show, please send this to someone who also would be inspired by this. Other than that, have a great day and God bless.